Whereas anytime we jump into IP addresses, this is where it starts to get a little confusing for some people. And the way I kind of look at it is it's kind of like your home address or your street address, or if you have an apartment or whatever. It's kind of like your street address, and each specific IP address will be unique enough to get mail delivered right to that specific or unique place from there. So what we typically look at is what type of class is the IP address, and there's various types of classes in IP version 4, and we can talk a little bit about IP version 6. And usually the networks are broken up into what's called a subnet or a subnetwork, and in a domain. So if you have a company, you create a domain, people can join the domain, assets can join the domain. Each thing that's on the domain or each node that's on the domain typically will get an IP address, and those IP addresses, based off of network access control, can be put into different VLANs or different subnets, and where we allow certain subnets to talk to other subnets through gateways, and being able to allow us to have different portions of that network address that allow us to communicate in between these different domains. So keep that in mind. Now, as we're going through and talking about this, some of the things that you definitely will need to know, or you already should know, are terms like NAT, Network Address Translation, where essentially as a company, you're assigned a public IP address, and only the people on the internet can see that public IP address. It's translated internally to the network address translate, or through the network address translation, to try to obfuscate your internal infrastructure schema, IP schema that you have set up. And based off of that, the network address translation, it also going out will look like it came from one address as well. So you definitely need to know a little bit about network address translations, because IP addresses can be assigned to a corporation, one or many per corporation. But then also we can take that IP address and then break it up into these subnetworks internally any way that we want. So we can have N number of nodes internally, and that really is very helpful for us in research and development, or as a corporation grows, you can continually add different IP addresses